Okay, so if you've been running the early grind route and still feel squishy and slow, it's probably not the route. It's your setup. So in this video, I'm going to show you an early build that makes everything easier without needing to perfect gear or heavy upgrades. Bunny can carry a mission on her own. So going over her weapons, again, we're going to start with the stat stick. The stat stick of the Thunder Cage. It looks like this, something akin to this. We got the brisk walk, we got the calling forces, we got the better weapon insight. All these things are in there for getting her increased movement speed. That's going to activate passively. And then we're going to do the calling special forces. It's in there, but it's not really needed. And then we're going to do the better weapon insight. These are the trifecta of the build to be part of the stat stick. The other stuff in there is just kind of fluff. You can kind of run this thing naked. Now, the main weapon of Bunnies is going to be the Blue Beetle. There's like a big weapons overhaul coming with some of these weapons to more zone in on what a Descendant's weapon is, like it should have been from the beginning. Freyna's Fallen Hope. Like I always thought Freyna needed the Fallen Hope. It's more key towards her. A lot of people don't like that, but I think there's a weapon in the game for everybody. Anyway, Blue Beetle, this is set up differently. We got a little bit of a stat stick in here, but we got the Veil Analyzer for handling those Void Erosion missions, Void Erosion Purge, Void Vessel, things of that nature. You can change this out with something else, but all around, this is what's gonna do it. All right. And then we got the Greg's Reverse Fate. That's getting an update really quickly here. I want to say on the 15th. I think that's coming out, but don't quote me on that. This is a very good Greg's Reverse Fate. It looks low on damage, but you can't really trust these numbers over here versus what you see in the game. Now, going back to the Slayer set, it's not kitted out to maxed out or whatever, but everything's going to be HP defense. That's what all the little cores are going to be if you maxed it out. Now, it is going to read like this, though. HP, MP. It's going to be MP, MP. We got defense, MP, recovery modifier. That's very important for Bunny. And then we have the toxin resist max shield. You can get the max shield recovery in combat. That's usually the staple. But here for Bunny, when we're doing a lot of the running, you're not going to see some of the enemies throw out those poison caltrops. And then she's going to run over them and it's going to hurt. So if you hit the info button, you can see my toxic resist is up enough, just a little bit, in order to get, just some damage resist on that. This, when understanding the external components, you got to understand why this one's good and like why it's bad. So it's got a little bit of defense in here. That's fine for the set. Now this set mainly works with the Glay, but it does work for Bunny. It's going to give her that increased skill power by 26% plus, not multiplicative. They changed that, and Bunny doesn't really care about. She cares about defense, but like most of her gear isn't geared towards defense. She's not trying to compete with like Ajax, but this gear set does give you a little bit of that defense, so you have something to build on. And anytime you're upgrading like HP, shield, defense, it's gotta have a base to build on. And that's where a lot of people fall short on understanding external components, is that if you don't have a base to build on, you can't really use it. So there's the pain point with building out a character. All these YouTubers want to tell you about this set and this thing and run this, and then their HP and defense and stuff, they all look low like this, and you're like, how they go into missions and beat stuff like that? I don't know either, because it's not realistic. You're not them, and I'm obviously not them either. I don't run that type of build. So when we go with something simple, right? I even got on the Ultimate Bunny, Regular Bunny thing. Electric Condense is what a lot of people like. It is a very good looking module because it covers Bunny in a electrical field where she can blow up. The range on that is pretty good when you utilize this overall build. We're focused on some of the key things here for the build. This is skill cooldown. So focus on mods, focus on electric, focus on singular. All right. Then we have this is the non-crit based bunny, but when you're running this, you're probably going to want the crit based version of bunny. So the non-crit based version is not the most powerful, but it is the most consistent, if that makes sense. So we have skill cost reduction in here, and we have 2 HP modules because we don't like to die. So then we have the 2 skill cost, and skill cooldown. And nimble fingers usually works its way up inside of here, but you know, it's all right. So I'm going to show you in a showcase at the end of the video, or maybe play it along with it in the background of the video, and show you how Bunny she can beat a whole Sigma sector by herself with no module attached at all. It's just base Bunny doing her thing. Now the maximum power is the better one of the 3 that she can equip. Now, when we talk about in game, we don't want to really focus too much on in game, because for the First Descendant, there's things to do, but there's no real, I guess, in game. There ain't no raid that you're keying up for. There's no big boss battle that you're gonna team up with a bunch of enemies for. There's just you and the void abyss, right? So an endless pit of grind. But the ultimate challenge mode is what you're kind of working for. If you can find a party, they just added a party feature. Find a party, jump in here, get your 20 cores. But to do it solo, that's what most builds out there try to go for. But most builds don't come close to beating it solo. You probably do need a party that's going to be like the raid for the characters or something. But this is the most common one. Trying to beat this one as fast as you can, the most effectively that you can. And bunnies can do it. I don't particularly like doing it by myself, but I do like joining up with a public team and going in there and knocking out with other people within like 5 to 6 minutes to get you some decent rewards. So that is gonna be the build. And what we're focused on here is survivability. We're focused on consistency, and most of all, we are focused on speed with Bunny. And when you look at her overall speed, her sprint speed at base here is about 678. Now, when you hit your speed of light, it does max out at 1600. So what do you need to ignore when building? When building specifically this character, you can ignore trying to get all the cores and all the stuff that you don't need at the time. You're working up to that. You don't really need to focus, to hyper focus on getting these types of cores, because these ones are given out to you just so you can, like, they're given out to you a lot in abundance as you're playing the game. The weapon cores you got to work for. The external component ones are given out to you for free. Maxing out your reactor, that's a thing to focus on. Getting those things up, getting the quantum cells and all the stuff that you need to just kind of like level it up. And that's going to be done easy enough in the special operations area, where you're going to get those types of rewards, the quantum things for the level up, of the reactor. Now, the other videos that you're going to see out there, they're going to show you how one-shotting some things here, hitting max crit damage here, and all that. But I want to tell you that defense is important on Bunny. Shield doesn't really matter. HP is good when it's high. Defense about 60,000. Shield 1,000 is fine. HP high enough. You need it high enough. Over 8,000 or over 9,000. 10,000 is a good number. So you're good here as a base. So when you start putting in everything else, these numbers are going to significantly increase, and you're going to get this at about somewhere about Maybe this probably will get up to like 46,000 on its own. And then you can flex one of these spots, right? You can flex one of these spots and throw in a defense somewhere. So take off this HP module here, throw a defense on it if you want to increase your defense a little more for survivability. So we'll check out, again, we'll check out the Ajax, just in case you haven't seen it before. But this Ajax, this Ajax build started off as a base. You copy that one. And then we have the the Viessa. So her absolute zero build. Use this one as a base. Go off of that. And then we're gonna go to Lepic, and again, I haven't kitted out my Lepic yet because I'm making these videos quite back to back. But what it's going to look like, so I could show you this exactly what it's going to look like: skill insight, skill concentration, emergency measures, frontline, another crit mod. It's another crit mod, and then we have the MP conversion. We have the nimble fingers. We have the amplification control. We're going to go with skill expansion. And then we're going to go with probably an HP and a defensive mod here for survivability. But you can go full glass cannon with him if you want to. But HP defense right here, frontline, skill expansion. That's generally the build here for him. So skill insight, skill concentration, emergency measures, frontline, skill expansion, HP defense. Easy enough. And that's going to be your big four. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Now this covers early game foundation. Next, I'll break down what not to upgrade yet so you don't have to waste resources. I covered a little bit of it here, but I'll go over it in a more detailed video in the next video. All right. So like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.